Yeah. Okay, we are live now, I think. Hi guys, just let us know if you guys can hear me and see me. You want to sit here?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, I think we are live now. Okay. I know a lot of people are very surprised with the firstly pattern changes, difficulty changes, but with CAT only like change is constant. So always there is change either in pattern and difficulty. Something unexpected always happens. So if you guys have seen all the three slots by now, you would have realized that the in this particular year, DILR was very different. DLR's difficulty was very different. Attempt strategy should have to be then very different as such. And quant was also very different in terms of difficulty. So,
I'll tell you what my views are about slot 3 first because I took slot 3. Slot 3, I think, with respect to verbal section, the RCs were easy to read, but the questions were difficult. There were a lot of inference based questions, which were, in my opinion, very tricky. They were not very easy. So, even if people feel that they have done well, one thing I would tell is the inference based questions were definitely on the trickier side. So, I'm not so sure how the marks will be. At least in verbal section, I think even the verbal questions, some of the para summaries were also tricky. I think the first para summary about Marxism was I found it very difficult to read. I came back after like some time to actually attempt it because that was the first question that I got, and I found that to be definitely on the trickier to read side. So overall, I don't think verbal was an easy section. I think verbal was definitely on the medium to actually difficult side. LRDA on the other hand, I felt was definitely on the easier side. Earlier, I would tell students that out of 4 sets, if you attempt one set correct, you will clear the cutoff for 80 percentile. This time, I don't think you'll clear the cutoff of 80 percentile with one set. 2 sets would definitely help you clear the cutoff. If you get 2 sets correct, you will definitely clear 80 percentile. Maybe 1.5 set also might be sufficient to clear 80 percentile. I'm not so sure. Is possible, but let us see. So LRDA I think is definitely on the easier side. There are some sets which are definitely doable, especially for 80 percentile. With respect to quant, I really like the quant section because there were some questions which are on the easier side. There were, I think, 7-8 questions which are definitely on the easier side, but the remaining questions were not easy. So again, people who might feel that this is a very easy quant section, I would tend to disagree with that. I feel that there are some questions which are easy, which is good because last year there were no easy questions at all. Last year, out of all the 22 questions, there was no easy question, which is going to make the section very, very difficult. This time, I think there were at least 6 or 7 questions which are definitely on the easier side. Those questions, I think students should definitely get correct. But the remaining questions, there was a good mix. There were some questions which are lengthy. There were some questions which are actually difficult to get. So overall, I felt the quant section was a very good quant section because I like it when there is a wide variety of questions. There should be some easy questions. There should be some difficult questions. So I was very impressed with the quant section.
yeah, with the quant section, some people were saying ki their quant, like people got worried when everybody saying quant section is very easy, quant section is very easy. So I don't think it is very easy. What is the case is that you will definitely get some marks. It will not be that in this particular quant section you will get like 0 marks or negative marking. You'll get some marks because there are very easy questions also in this kind of mock. So generally, a lot of students will get 20 plus marks as such. But beyond 20, beyond 30, etc., you have to then basically after the first easy questions are over, 7, 8 easy questions, you have to solve difficult questions to actually get each incremental 3 marks as such. So then I feel there will be a decent amount of gradation between like good students, very good students, and very, very good students as such. I think this would be it wouldn't be the kind of quant section where everybody gets near 50s or so. Only very good students will get 50s. Many good students will get in 40s. Good students will get in 30s, and average students will get in 20s. So in a way, we'll have good gradation as far as quant section is concerned of the marks as such.
So just to give you a rough idea of what I expect, last year in CAT 2023, the 99 percentile in quant was 26 marks. This time, I think it will go up by around maybe 10 marks, maybe 36. Yeah, I think 99 percentile will be, I think, in my opinion, rough. Okay, this is just the first thoughts. I might change later. But right now, I feel for quant, maybe 35 to 36 should be 99 percentile because I didn't feel the section to be very easy. I thought the section was actually, there were some very easy questions for sure, but many of the other questions were difficult. They were not they can't be solved within a minute or 2 minutes. There were some questions which took me 4 or 5 minutes. So I don't think the quant section was a very easy section. I don't think it is an easy section, but I liked it. Like I told you earlier, there are at least 6-7 questions which are definitely on the very easy side. LRDI, I would say Uh, if you have solved two sets, you should be comfortable in clearing the sectional. But if you have solved only one set, I think that is tough. I don't think that is, unfortunately, I don't think that will be sufficient. With respect to verbal, again, I think it is not a very easy section. I found verbal to be slightly on the more difficult side.
Yeah. So somebody is asking about what was slot 3 VA. Was it tough? It wasn't tough, but basically what is happening is that there were good RCs, very easy to read RCs. So you would think that, okay, easy to read RCs, I completely understand the RC, then I can answer the questions. But some of the options were very close to each other. So that is basically where the tricky or difficult part will come, where I feel that a lot of people would have chosen the wrong option. You can narrow it down to two options in most of the cases. Inference cases, two options were clearly wrong, but two would be very close to each other, and between them there would be only a marginal error. And in some cases I would say that both were slightly wrong, both were slightly right. So basically then it becomes slightly subjective, that which of these two close options is the correct one. So I feel that VA is tough in the slot 3, not difficult to read, not difficult to understand, but it would be very close if it's your lucky day and it is between two options. On your lucky day, all of your two options, whichever you're picking, would be right. If it's the bad day for you, between two close options, you have picked the wrong ones. So essentially over here there will be a little bit of bad luck also at play, good luck also at play. So I feel it is not a easy VA RC section, but it is a VRC section where the options were slightly close in many of the RCs. There was one particular RC I felt, Mortai one, the alcohol one, where I felt at least three of the questions, the two options were, I could argue for both of the options as such. So I felt that was slightly tricky, though the RC was super easy to read. And in VA, the verbal ability para summaries also. One para summary, it was difficult to read, but it was trivial to answer because the option was very easy as such. But the other para summary also, the answers were slightly close to each other, where I felt that, okay, both of them are 80% same, 20% different, and between the 20% also it's difficult to tell which is the correct one because they were also close to each other as such.
Yeah. So that is with respect. The only thing is, overall for slot three, I would say people who should be a little worried about LRDA because it was definitely very easy. LRDA, I would say there were many sets which I found were. I think only the AC one I found was, I was not comfortable with it. But there was one with respect to, I think, elders. Yeah, that was a very easy one. Uh, that was a very easy one. There was one with respect to GDP that was, I think, slightly tricky, but again not very tricky. I messed it up, but I think people will should not find it very difficult. There was another thing. What are the other sets?
The one
With
on
ATMs, I think slightly tricky, but again by CAT standards, you should be very happy if that is the kind of set because slightly tricky, but again not very tricky. You should be able to get it.
table with missing values.
Table with missing values was tough. Yeah,
Table
table
with missing values was a good set.
was a good set. Yeah,
That is what I would expect in CAT 2023.
yeah. It is a quant based.
That and the ATM one is what you would generally expect. The AC one was weird because the AC one was basically, you felt that, okay, mostly this is the answer, but you can't say for sure. Mostly it is this answer. Mostly I can't see any other scenario, but I can't exhaustively list out all scenarios. So I marked based on that, that mostly this is the answer, and I just felt that whether you're a good student or a bad student, mostly you would get that feeling anyway. So kind of it was a weird set as such.
ATM, I got two solutions, but again, like she's saying, I don't know whether it is just two or more than two. I got two solutions, which I think both are correct. So I'm not so sure. But I'm worried that there might be more than another solution. But because I was in a hurry, I didn't check for everything. Somebody was saying slot one DLR is very easy. Maybe that's what we heard from people. But I would say all slots DLR. I don't know about slot two, but slot three DLR I think is definitely on the very easy set. Probably, in my opinion, in all the last few cats, I think this was the easiest LRDA. That is the reason I was telling people to be a little circumspect about LRDA. I found people, if they hold their nerves, they should be a good student. That is somebody who is scoring, say, 90 percentile in LRDA. I think should be getting three LRDA sets. I'm not saying 90 percentile would require you to get three LRDA sets. I'm just saying there will be a lot of people who would have gotten three LRDA sets. Yeah.
The only pain with LRDI, I'll tell you, in all three sections, I feel the only pain would be people who under attempted. Because I'll tell you that here, you need not find definitively the answer. But if you get the feeling, and somebody saying ki I did tukka in the AC set, I think the tukkas will work because mostly they are kind of the kind of sets where you can see the chart and figure out mostly it is this answer. mostly there has to be these many changes or something like that. If you under attempt, that is a pain, because then you would actually have a serious problem reaching the cutoff. So if you have attempted 2 sets, you will be near the
No,
cutoff.
no, 2 sets if you're getting correct, you will
Yeah,
definitely clear the cutoff.
2 sets with accuracy is good enough. 2 sets slight inaccuracy, you might be on
Yeah.
the edge. 3 sets mostly it would be
No,
enough.
no, 3 sets.
3 sets with poor
Yeah,
accuracy also would be enough,
yeah.
because the sets are not difficult. It won't happen that you will get all questions in a particular set wrong, because they are mostly, you will get one question wrong, or one you would not have considered one possibility or something like that, but mostly you will get some of the questions right in the 3 sets and you'll clear the cutoff. But if you are under attempted in the DILR, that is the only pain as such.
Yeah. I think the overall marks for percentile will go up significantly. I'm sure. Okay, because people would score a lot in LRDI as well as in quant. Last year, quant people really struggled, really, really struggled. If 99 percentile was 26 marks, you can imagine. So the 99 percentile marks in quant, like I said earlier, would go by at least 10 marks. With
36 to 40.
no, no, yeah, it will be between 36 to 40. I think will be maybe pushing it. Maybe 36. I think is definitely possible. Because you'll get 7 8 questions correct, and another 5 6 questions you will get, but there'll be some inaccuracies. So overall, I would say around 36 to 40, like she's saying. In quant, will be 99 percentile. LRDI, I would say 99 percentile would be again 40 plus. 3 sets correct, I think is 99 percentile. Maybe yeah, 3 sets if you attempted and you got all three correct, then it will be 99 percentile. VRC, I don't know. VRC will be, I think the percentile might slightly decrease. So overall, I would say this is similar to, I think, CAT 2021. I think CAT 2021 also the percentiles were much higher. The marks for required percentile was much higher for CAT 2021, which is what I expect even this time. I think in CAT 2021, 99 percentile was around 100 marks, which might be true even this time. I think 100 marks will be maybe 99 percentile around that.
I would say maybe slightly higher than that. See, basically between the this 99 percentile, there'll be like some between 99 plus percentile, there'll be some gradation, but there'll be also bunching of marks at 95 percentile. A lot of like there'll be significant change in marks by 1 mark or 2 mark difference. There'll be a significant change in percentile, because every section there were easy enough questions to actually answer. In quant, getting to 20 was not difficult at all. In DILR, getting to 20 was not difficult at all. So basically, most people would do at least a decent opening in most of the section. Somebody was asking that somebody was RV99 was saying that generally was scoring between 36 to 33 to 36 in dashcat VARC, 41 highest, but he's not sure about this particular VARC. I'll tell you, I'm not sure about this particular VARC, because basically between two options I marked one. Okay, I can argue both ways, okay, this way or that way. So even I'm not sure how much I'm scoring. Generally, I get the feeling that okay, VRC is set. I have done well in VRC. This time I don't have the feeling. I don't think at all whether I can't tell whether I did well in this VRC or not, because it can go either way. So basically, if you feel insecure, that is fine, because many people would be feeling this insecurity.
My only worry is with respect to good students is going by what CAT 2023 was. Like she was saying, I'm just a little worried that people have attempted lesser. That I think would be very bad. I just hope that you have attempted as many as you could. If that is the case, I think you should be quite okay. But again, one more thing is at the higher levels, for a gym candidate especially, there is a big difference between getting 99 percentile and 99.5, and those things I think will matter. So if you have attempted say 12 questions and gotten all 12 correct in quant, would that be sufficient is a question. Those kind of things are a little worrisome. So but again, I don't want you to take a lot of load. Cat is over. All this postmortem and all is not going to help a lot of people. This is just my thoughts because I was interested in sharing my thoughts. That was the reason we are doing this stream. I would say that okay, today night you can relax, you can just blow off any steam because it was a lot of stress and everything is involved. So maybe party, or you can discuss cat, you can go on Telegram, Reddit, YouTube, everywhere you can discuss a lot of things. But the important thing is, especially for students who are preparing for that, maybe in the next 1 2 days, maybe you can blow off stream for today and tomorrow. That I think is fine. But after 2 3 days, don't get obsessed about this response rate. When is it going to come? Many people do that, which I don't think is useful at all. Especially, I don't think people would have. Many people have messed up this year or immediately know that they have messed up. I think many people have had a decent cat, which is good. Uh, but what I would
Yeah.
tell you is after 2 3 days at least, just start your cat zat preparation, especially students who are preparing for zat. because don't waste a lot of time going and trying to figure out when the response sheet will come or when the answer key will come, what will the expected percentile be. All of these things are completely useless, completely pointless. There is nothing you can do right now. It is okay to waste 2 3 days on it, but after that at least start focusing on that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just take a time, some time to decompress, some time to relax. See, basically, cat changes a lot. You can't really predict the pattern. So if this time, because of the pattern change, suppose you didn't do well, that's fine because that is there. That's pattern is fairly static. Always DM section always throws surprises and it is unexpected, but the remaining two sections are fairly static as such. So if this particular like roll of dice was not in your favor, even then that is fine. You have that, focus on that, do well in that because you have another chance as such. Again, over here I feel there was some amount of luck involved. For example, one guys, I heard from many of the people in slot one that they felt completely overwhelmed by the change in pattern as such, where the change in pattern was very unexpected as such. See, I would say that people who are very dependent on RC would be at an advantage in slot one. The second thing I will say is that in general, people who adapt better to change would do better, but most of the people would have less information going in slot one, which would mean that their attempts would be lower, their scores would be lower, because you suddenly feel that okay, suddenly like DILR is very different from last 2 3 years. So nobody goes in expecting that I have to attempt 18 questions in DILR, right? Now you'd have to attempt like 15 16 questions. So again, the people who went into DLR in slot one would not have attempted as much. So I expect slot one, if you feel that okay, what is going on, I maybe under attempted, don't worry. That would be the case across slot one, and I think I expect basically that slot one would get scaled up because of this change in pattern as such, this unexpectedness of change in pattern. But the remaining two slots, basically because they knew slightly, this kind of scaling would not be there in the remaining two slots as such. I feel particularly with DILR, it would be such an if I was there in slot 1, I don't think I would have done particularly well. Because I was in slot 3, I was able to know already that I have to attempt more questions. So definitely I feel slot 1 would have the would get scaled up because they had the information disadvantage.
Yeah, that's it about us with us guys. There were some people who met us at the examination center. Okay, nice. Many people were saying that our videos have helped them quite a lot. Thanks a lot, guys. If you found that useful, please do like the stream. Every time you like, it will reach more people, and that will help us quite a lot. Uh, but other than that, I don't have much to say. I would just say that you have worked a lot, so you can enjoy today, maybe today and tomorrow. But definitely start preparing for that. That is the only thing I would tell you. One final note, I don't want to leave on a pessimistic note, but somehow I'm a little worried about students who attempted low, because I feel the LRDA sections, there are some sections which are definitely should have been attempted more. That is the only thing I feel. But it is good that the paper was easier. Last year, at this point, most of the students were completely depressed. So right now, the mood is at least upbeat, which is pretty good. Good to know.
Yeah, no, but one thing I'll say, one thing is that if you guys are comparing your attempt rate with somebody else's attempt rate, don't do that, because firstly I'll tell you that even if your attempt rate is low, the accuracy is going to be slightly erratic, because many of the questions we started discussing now and we realize okay, the accuracy was not as good in this particular paper as earlier, because I feel that the expectation was suddenly you would have an easy question, then a harder question, then an easy question, then the question when you see a slightly harder question where you suddenly have to pay like suddenly you have to put like 5 minutes or 4 minutes. It was not uniformly distributed as such. So basically there were many sitters, then suddenly when you come to a question which requires 4 minutes or 5 minutes to solve, there was one question, Maruti told me he took 7 minutes in slot 3. So there were many difficult questions also, and accuracy in such kind of difficult questions would not be great as such. So even if your attempt rate is low, if you're feeling that okay, I attempted very little, if your accuracy is fine, you will still be okay. So don't worry about it, and especially don't take stress now, because it is pointless, it will be completely useless. There in this particular the in this particular cat, I know that we had to increase the level of attempts as such, but accuracy is going to be all over the place because there was a sudden change. Okay, easy question, sitter question in done in 30 seconds, very hard question requiring 5 minutes plus. So because there was this constant switching between different questions, a lot of people were out of their depth, because if you have all easy questions, it is easy. If you have all difficult questions, you know you have to do 8 questions. If there is this mix of very easy questions, very hard questions, I feel accuracy will not be great in this kind of particular this. So don't worry too much if your attempt rate is also low. If your accuracy is good, it might still be enough. Okay.
I would just say again, coming back to what I was saying, there will be a lot of surprise on the response sheet day, because this was a slightly tricky cat. Overall, I'm not able to assess exactly what the percentiles will be, whether a particular section is easy or not. Because like she's saying, I remember many questions in quant which were definitely lengthy. There was some modulus of x plus modulus of y, something where there were two modulus
X
equations.
plus y, x minus y, how
Uh,
many integral solutions are
yeah,
there?
that I found was slightly on the tricky, lengthier side. There was one about some solutions like water removed, milk
Yeah,
and
yeah, the
water.
milk removed. Milk
Yeah,
removed, I tried twice, I couldn't answer.
yeah, that was a very lengthy question. I don't know whether I was finding it lengthy or the question itself was lengthy, but I found it to be very lengthy. It took me, like she was saying, 7 minutes. First I solved it for 3 minutes. I was not able to solve it. I went, I solved the others. Then I came back to it. I spent another 3 minutes. Again, I couldn't solve it because I was getting some quadratic equation. Then I went, I did others, and then finally I came and finally I was able to solve it. But like that, I found at least 4 or 5 questions like that, which are definitely on the lengthier side. But there were some questions which are immediately very, very simple. I could solve it in like 30 seconds. So overall, same with even LRD. LRD also, even though some of the sets were easy, I'm not so sure because I marked many questions very fast, which I think many people would have done. So until the response sheet comes, I would cross my fingers. I'll just wait and see, because many people, uh, we don't really know how the accuracy is for many students, because some of the questions were tricky. So
Yeah, same over here. So basically, even in VARC, I feel that I mark something, I mark to the best of my ability, but there was no clear one answer. So I think there'll be a lot of surprises come actual result day. So don't worry, even if your attempt rate is low. People who are feeling that okay, they had a very high attempt, this insecurity is there in the heart of many people. Even we don't know for sure whether what we marked was the right answer or not. So don't worry, we'll find it out when the answer sheet actually comes. So obsessing over the questions now, trying to answer the questions now is pointless. Don't focus on that. Go to that, start practicing and working on that, because what result will come is already fixed. Okay, it is no longer in your hand. Obsessing over it will not change the result.
yeah, somebody was asking what is the syllabus for ZAT. The syllabus for ZAT is pretty similar to CAT. The only difference, one big difference, is that it has decision making, which is a very important section for ZAT. Sayali, who is the topper of ZAT, I think can tell you better.
Okay, so basically, quant will be similar. Arithmetic still plays a big role. Algebra plays a big role. Geometry plays a big role. But in geometry, you have the additional part of coordinate geometry and trigonometry, heights and distances. More of those questions will come. More PNC questions come. So this is basically the part for quant. DILR is not there. Instead of that, we have decision making, which is entirely different. It is a subjective kind of a section where you have to make assessments like ethics based assessments, morality based assessments, strategy based assessments. So it's a very subjective paper. In that, the idea should be that you clear the cutoff. So we have essentially tried to make it as objective, as scientific as possible. But essentially, that is a big hurdle that you have to overcome. You're not going to score well in that particular section. You just have to make sure that you clear the cutoff. Sometimes the cutoffs are in single digit. VARC, you have the RCs, plain RCs, plus poem RCs, which is slightly different. Just you have to train for that. You have grammar and you have vocabulary. Grammar and sentence correction is the additional thing. You have to practice that. And vocabulary based questions will also be there. So you have to practice for that. So that's the only additional part that you have to consider.
Somebody was asking when the ZAT course will start. The ZAT course will start very soon, I think in the next 2 3 days. We'll be having live classes for ZAT every day on weekdays from Monday to Friday. They will be from 8 to 9 p.m. We're going to be discussing in depth with decision making. If you're looking for any more details for the ZAT crash course, you can look at this number over here. You can call it, yeah, somewhere over there. Yeah, that course, that phone number. We will get back to you with the details. There was another thing. That Shivansh Singla was asking, any chance for hardcore practice batch for CAT 2025 instead of a theory batch for people who are already enrolled for theory 2024 batch? Good question. What we are trying to do this year is we'll be starting a batch for CAT 2025 sometime in January. That batch, we are trying to separate two batches. One batch will be for non-engineers, where we'll go from the absolute basics, because we feel that for non-engineers, especially in quant, I want to go in complete detail from absolute basics of quant, like what is the slope of a line, how do you define the slope, All of those simple basics, absolute basics, is where we want to start for non-engineers. That batch will start in January. Around the same time, I'm considering starting another batch for people who have already done well, maybe scored around 90 percentile, 95 percentile, but are attempting, so that it will be a more intense batch which will be focused on practice, practice, practice. So probably we will be starting two batches in January, one for non-engineers. So we'll go from absolute basics, which will be a very slow teaching batch. Another will be practice, practice, practice batch, which will start again around the same time. We'll let you know the details about those courses, but that is still some time away.
Okay. So yeah, you always have our blessings. Somebody asked, please bless us for good cat results. And okay, so you always have our blessings. You basically don't take the tension of what the result will be. Whatever happens will happen. Somebody was saying that they came back home and realized that their answer in a particular quant question was wrong. See, this happens all the time. So basically, I would say that stay away from discussing the answers. Me and Maruti were just discussing the answer of one particular question. I realized I got it wrong. Then I was like very sad that I just thought it is pointless. Now it is already done. I can't change it. So don't discuss. Don't, if some friends are discussing ki okay ye answer kya tha, wo answer kya tha, go away from there, because it is just going to like take up your headspace, make you feel either sad, and it's not going to change like what has happened. So I would say that don't discuss. See, basically accuracy will not be very high. You have made a mistake in that one question, others would have made mistakes in other questions. So don't worry about those things. Basically keep your uh, cat is over, you should relax, enjoy, take a break, take one day off, then come back with a renewed vigor and fervor for that. The thinking, okay, what is this question answer, what is that question answer. I know many students are going to waste all their time on Reddit asking iska kya answer tha. It is pointless, don't do it. If you get the wrong answer, it will crush you. If you get the correct answer, you will go to the next question कि iska kya answer tha. So forget all of that, just take a break, enjoy, go to that. That's all I would say.
Just two things. There was one guy who was asking why I wear the same shirt for Cat. I wear the same shirt because yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan and Arsenal won yesterday, so I just felt like wearing it. Uh, Somebody was asking which slot I was in. I was in slot 3. How many ZAT mocks to practice? How many ZAT mocks are we having?
10 zat marks
We'll be having 10 ZAT mocks for
and
Cracku,
five sectionals.
and 5 sectionals each. Okay, guys, that is it for today. Only thing is, don't get distracted. You can spend the next 1 2 days just trying to figure out what are the answers, because it is difficult to get it out of your headspace. But don't waste too much time on it. And after 2 3 days, start working on that. Okay, guys, that's it. Please do like the stream. Let us get to at least 200 likes, and then all the best for your result.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best of luck for your result. Just leave it till that day and take a day off. Don't immediately start with that. Also, you can take one day off, chill, go meet your friends, feel better about this journey, because this is a long journey. So you should also meet up with people, take a break and all. Take one day off, relax, then start with that, because that is also a very important exam. And having those kind of options is always good. A lot of students who have not filled the ZAT form, I'll suggest that please fill the form. The application deadline is 30th November, so you still have the chance to apply for that. So if you have not applied for that, please apply for that. Okay.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't applied, definitely apply. Even if you feel that Cat has gone well, it is still definitely better for you to apply, because the response sheet is not out yet. We don't know. Even if you get a very high percentile, you still have to take interviews, and there are so many variables. I would definitely recommend you to fill the ZAT form if the time is still there.
Yeah. Even if you're like, I'm going to take only ABC, if you're that kind of a student, still take that. I'll tell you, because when you're actually facing the best case scenario, you get into IMA, when you're sitting for IMA's summer placements also, then also you have to make a resume. So in resume, you need points or academic achievements. If you do well in that, if you do well in that, you can write your that percentile as one of the academic achievements. I did that, Maruti did that. So everybody has needs those points also for academic achievements. If for nothing else, even if you don't plan to take XLRI, just for that, take that as such, because you need all the experience that you can get, you need all the exam experience that you can get, you need all the interview experience that you can get. Okay, so definitely fill that form.
Okay, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in.
See you guys.
Bye.